Hey, it's Tonika Bruce, also known as Coach Bruce or the Network Nurse. I'm a registered nurse, an author, a leader, a doctoral student, a wife, and a parent. Join me on this journey to discuss nurse X's and O's from nursing to networking. With my experiences, failures, and lessons learned in leadership, business, and sports, my hope is to positively impact your life by challenging you to chase after your goals with relentless pursuit. Let's aim to achieve success beyond your wildest dreams. Welcome everybody. Today's episode, we're going to take a look at the nursing profession in general and just kind of what it takes to be a good nurse. And nursing can be hard. It's not a profession for the faint at heart. And as a nurse, you're going to cry sometimes. You might be exhausted or discouraged, and you're going to see some things that you never thought you would. But at the same time, you'll get to experience great love and empathy and compassion for people in need. And your heart will start to kind of grow this love for people, being able to understand their every need. But at the same time, suffering and human loss are also things that you experience as well. So let's just dive a little bit into selflessness in nursing and how nurses can be selfless and why that's so important as a nurse. So from the onset of your nursing career, you're joining a profession that you have to learn self-sacrifice. That's the very core of this profession. And I'm not just talking about self-sacrifice dedicating to just your life work alone. It's being there for your patients because they've trusted and depended on you. It's also your duty to give medications to patients, and it doesn't matter if they're young or old, doesn't matter your specialty, and it doesn't matter your belief, because you have people with all different beliefs. There may be patients that don't like you at all because you're not like them, so they don't want you to be their nurse. And so you have to also learn to put the needs of patients before your own. And that's an ultimate show of sacrifice and compassion. In addition to that, nurses are always on their feet. And from the onset to the shift to the end of the shift, sometimes never getting a chance to sitting down, even charting standing up. And there's this listening to patients. You have to listen to patients' needs and never tire from that. And not just your one patient, unless you're working in intensive care and you have one patient and they're probably not doing any talking anyway. But let's think about if you have 3 or 4 or 8 or 9 patients. That's going from one patient to the other, one area to another. If you work in many different areas, maybe you're on the float pool. And studies have shown that nurses they're at a higher risk of occupational injuries like back pain, back injury, just due to constant movement and heavy workload. Nurses have to show up every single day. Doesn't matter if they're having a good day or a bad day, because nurses know that someone else is in dire need. So that selflessness and putting the patient and others' needs in front of their own is truly a quality that not many have. So when you think about that, nurses every single day have to be at their best and still show up. Because if nurses didn't show up, who will? And as a nurse, there's this great importance of that selflessness, because you always put the patient's needs before your own. And when you think about that, that brings just this sense of assurance and security to any patient. And that sense of security, it'll cause the patient to trust you and trust the healthcare system that you're working for, whether you're working in long-term care or acute care, you're working in whatever it is, that creates this sense of trust. And it builds on your credibility to whatever service that you're offering. And if you do a great job, knowing that sometimes even if you do a great job, that can be misunderstood, either because of the challenges that you're facing as a nurse that day, or even in your personal life. Then when we talk about selflessness, it's also magnified in the fact that nurses do this out of love. The love that they have for their patients and people in general. I mean, nurses don't wake up every day to go to work for recognition and awards. No. Nurses in the past have said that the times that you help someone that's been in excruciating pain or didn't understand something and they help them, that's reward enough. And think about it, the patient gets well, and sometimes they even forget to say thank you. Sometimes they don't care at all and they just treat you horribly. Maybe they call you names, or they're rude, or they still find that opportunity to just not be pleasant. But yet somehow nurses still find the heart to help. And not a lot of people will do that. To me, that's the true nature of service. So the next time that you visit a healthcare facility, and obviously right now, lots of people are not visiting healthcare facilities unless you're a patient. But when you do, if you're not a nurse listening to this, remember to speak to nurses and all healthcare workers. Give a little kindness, be nice, and appreciate them for the work and the service to humanity. You might brighten the life of that nurse that day. You never know what someone's going through. Maybe that nurse has to get off work and go home and take care of a quadriplegic child. Maybe that nurse has to go home and spoon feed 3 children. You just don't know what someone's going through. So by your act of kindness, that may just put a smile on someone's face. And then when you're talking about selflessness, it can take so many forms and shapes in a hospital, in a nursing home, wherever you work. It can help a patient understand their injury or illness. And at the same time, it can help the nurse to understand you. The bottom line is the nurse wants you to be well. You want to be well. So it's a partnership. It doesn't matter if you're helping a patient from the parking lot to the front desk, or you're asking about medication or past medical history, or describe your pain, or working in an orthopedic floor and you're helping the patient walk again, or get up and move around. So whatever it is that you do, when you see a nurse or a healthcare worker, show some kindness, because those very people serve us with selflessness each and every day. Hopefully you guys liked today's episode. My goal is to be of help to you in making even the slightest change in your life through this podcast. And if that happens, then that's achievement enough for me. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. That's very important. And also connect with me on my social media pages. And if you want to know more about me, please visit tonikabruce.com. Now, there's always 3 things that you need to do in between now and the next episode. 1, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. 2, know when the next episode will be. And number 3, win your day.